Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Doc Beard from lastcar.info. First of all, as you can see, a little different audio arrangement here. Just want to make sure. Can you guys hear me okay? I know we just have a couple people in the chat right now. Okay. If you guys can't hear me, just let me know. One of the reasons I wanted to do a brief show tonight, I'm kind of moving some stuff around here, and I kind of want to make sure this is working okay before the Sunday show. Does it sound okay? All right, well, we'll certainly talk about the Xfinity Series race here tonight. We still are going to do a show on Sunday after the Cup Series race. And yes, Bailey Currey in the 7th spot. We're going to definitely talk about that as well. And we'll cover all the action from here. I guess we're doing okay. We got a few comments here so far. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, right on. Hopefully it's a little better in the audio quality with the peripheral mic we've been using the few weeks. I know we got it in the shot here, but this is basically the same mic that I use for the videos. And I wanted a special thanks to the person who recommended I do a compressor. I've picked up one of those, hooked that up, and hopefully the audio range won't be quite as crazy for future episodes of the field fillers and so forth. So I checked this a little bit earlier this morning, and it seemed like it was working okay, but okay, coming through fine. Okay. All right. Well, that's enough audio talk here. Let's jump into the action here to the Xfinity Series race. While Austin Cindric did claim the victory today, he was by no means the only story in the field. First and foremost, have to extend a huge congratulations to Brandon Brown on a fantastic third place finish there for the Brandon Built team. A great effort for them. They seemed like they were in and around the top 10 for most of this race. We're part of that great battle with JJ Yaley and these other competitors up there at the same time. Brown getting the third place finish there is a great showing for them, and I believe a new career best for him. Fantastic run for him. And yes, Bailey Currey, the 7th place finish for Mike Harmon Racing, a great turnaround for them. We think about last year with Kyle Weatherman in the 47 car and his spirited charge into the top 10 last year. I believe, let me get the statistics here with Curry. I think that's a new career best for him, and perhaps for the best for the team as well. Just checking the statistics here in the meantime. How about JJ Yaley, though, at the same blush? Yaley at his home track getting a great run. Can tell that team had performed with Cody Ware getting in the great run at the Roval. Yaley at Martinsville was up there for a bit of the action there as well. Great turnaround for them. And, it really, it was mentioned there on Twitter that, it's too bad that team, I guess, isn't running the full season or not with the same driver or anything. Something out there. I think if Yaley had a full-time ride in that car, it'd be interesting to see what kind of a run he could actually get out of it. And yes, this is the first career, let's see, unofficially, yes, first career top 10 finish for Bailey Currey in the 7th place finish there in the Lerner and Rowe Chevrolet. Just fantastic effort again for them. But again, great run for Yaley. It's too bad he was in the 13th spot. It looked like he was going to be in position to get a top 10 there down the stretch. Pretty tight battle there throughout the field. But still getting a decent run. Harrison Burton looked like he got hooked in that final restart and allowed some of these other drivers to get up there. Timmy Hill with Interstate batteries on the hood. Very surprising there. Getting a 14th place finish after starting 39th on the grid. Huge run. If they still had the Hard Charger Award, I think that would most certainly go to him on that. Santino Ferrucci builds on his great run at Las Vegas where he was fighting Allgaier. Allgaier again falls back in the closing stages of this one, and Ferrucci gets 15th. Colby Howard didn't even have the rear panel on his car and finished in the 16th spot. Tommy Joe Martins, once again, after a solid run last week in Vegas, 17th in this one here, the Diamond Gusset car. Stephen Parsons getting into the top 20. Also, and Jay Buford, the 20th spot. Much like Yaley, had an even better car than that for most of the closing stages of this race. Looked like he was going to be in the top 10 there. Was still running 11th when he was battling with Riley Herbst and dropped out within the final 20 laps of the race. But even then, the team managed to finish on the lead lap in the 20th spot. So great recovery for the Big Machine team as we head into some of these other races, these other mile and a halves and stuff coming up here with Atlanta and so forth. Going to be a great showing there for Buford and that team as well. Have to say, though, kudos also to the NASCAR on Fox group for as much as I think they were just laughing a little bit too much in the booth there. They did a really good job following a lot of these stories, featuring Jade Buford, featuring Bailey Currey, featuring JJ Yaley a number of times. I thought they had some wonderful things to talk about Yaley that were long overdue in how much of a great journeyman driver he's been for a number of these organizations. And Bailey Currey and Mike Harmon's team, of course. We talked a lot last year about them breaking in and getting these top 10 runs during the stages, really outperforming in their equipment and taking their program to the next level. Looking at Brandon Brown, I got to really quantify this here with that. Okay, so it's not his first top 5 finish. He was 5th at Texas last fall, but yes, his new career best finish in the 3rd spot. Great run for them, of course. Getting their organization, much like RSS Racing, getting it more competitive there. Obviously, they haven't had the manufacturer swap like RSS had, but really didn't expect it, Phoenix of all tracks, for them to get their career best run. I tend to think that at the mile and a halves, especially that Texas race last year where he was running well, Ryan Vargas was running well in that. I think Tommy Joe Martins had a top 10 in that one. Seemed like once we got back to tracks like that, it was going to be more that direction. But, and I think one thing was very impressive with this is, yes, okay, there were a lot of like crazy things at the end of this race, a lot of bizarre twists and turns that led to these drivers being up there, but they had to actually work their way in and be more competitive in this race. It wasn't entirely because a lot of big names had problems, although a couple certainly did. But this wasn't the very same thing that we see usually at like super speedways or even road courses these days, where some competitors fall out because of freak mechanical issues or multi-car accidents. And we had our share of that in this one here. But still, a lot of these competitors, especially again Yaley and Brown and Tommy Joe Martins, they just had great days all around. And I was watching this with the folks here. The Xfinity Series has really come into its own with a great combination of big name teams and independents with underfunded efforts and several drivers in the middle of the field. I think they have a really strong and healthy group, and we've talked about that before in a lot of these other shows here lately, but still a great performance there on that end too. So let's see. But got to certainly kudos there to that. I'm gonna be interested to see what we can get in the Cup Series race tomorrow. I know there were a lot of concerns, of course, with the sticky stuff there that they put in. I guess it was in just turns 1 and 2 there, and how it kind of limited a little bit of that 2 and 3 wide racing we saw through that part of the track, even last championship rounds. I don't know how the Cup cars are going to handle that with reduced horsepower and everything, but we'll certainly see that tomorrow and talk about that again. For those of you just tuning in here, just doing a bonus show here, mostly to test the audio equipment, but also to give shout outs to the Xfinity Series underdogs that have had a great run here today. But just want to make sure that everything's all set up here as we go forward on that. So let's see. Let me check here. Yeah, party at Applebee's. I like that. That sounds good. So very interesting there. Also, I guess Josh Berry's double bird was an interesting moment there, reminiscent of I guess what was it? The incident with Ben Rhodes at Texas last year, or more famously, the Will Power one at New Hampshire in 2011. You saw a little bit of everything in this one too, and I think it was funny to see Barry smiling as much during that too. I think he had kind of an interesting bit of personality that came out along the way. Through this, we haven't really talked about the last place battle there. That was an interesting situation in its own right. We mentioned that some of the big teams had problems. 2 JR Motorsports. Oh, okay, can't keep doing that. 2 JR Motorsports cars had engine issues in the first part of the race. Gregson getting in the 39th spot and Michael Annett in the 38th spot unofficially. Jesse Little, your last place finisher for BJ McLeod's team. McLeod's team really struggled at the beginning of this. Apparently some fluid issues in the 78 car ultimately turned out to be what looked to be a brake issue going into turn 1. Luckily, apparently he's okay. So good to hear on that. But the 78 car in last place, taking the spot from his teammate Matt Mills, who also had mechanical issues and was forced behind the wall for an extended period, getting back out there and being able to climb actually to the 35th spot, finishing ahead of not only Gregson and Annett, but also Ryan Sieg, who tried once again to get up there on a different tire strategy and get a good run out there. Ultimately ended up getting collected with some crash damage there, put him behind the wall. And then, of course, the aforementioned Josh Berry unofficially rounding out the bottom five. Matt Mills actually climbing out of the bottom five to take the 35th spot. Looking around this group here, again, Kyle Weatherman, Bailey Currey's teammate there, unfortunately didn't have as good of a run as his teammate this time around, 34th spot there. Hopefully we get to the point there with Mike Harmon's team to see both the cars up there. Homestead seems to be one of their best tracks. I think both this year and last year, at least in one of the races last year, both those teammates were able to kind of stay competitive and be a factor in the finish of those races. But unfortunately not the case this time around in this event here. Let's see. Where was Loris Hesmans? Loris Hesmans starting last year in his second career start after he made his debut at Road America last year for BJ McLeod's team. This time around, Hesmans actually climbed to the 31st spot from the back of the field. For his first oval start, given the amount of chaos that we had out there, we didn't really see him feature in any of that, and that's about the best you could really expect out of a newcomer like that in the series. Blaine Perkins, I know he got a piece of the incident with Josh Berry. But I was, again, as I met, guess what? He had the incident with Berry and had some extra contact after Ferrucci put Berry in the outside wall. I was very impressed that Perkins was able to back off well enough to avoid really hooking Berry on the backstretch. Unfortunately, the flat tire still caused an accident after the fact, but Perkins didn't have a big role in that. I thought good heads-up driving by him and making his Xfinity Series start. Perkins finishing in the 24th spot, just lost a lap. Or no, I think he was about to lose a lap there. He's shown him on the lead lap here. I could have sworn he lost a lap there at the end, but I guess he probably got the lucky dog there under that last caution. Yeah, that's what it shows here. The last caution after LeBay's accident at the end of the day. Mario Gosselin's team, yeah, they seem to struggle a bit there too. Josh Williams having some problems getting some pull down the back straightaway, and then some other issues. Mr. Bean getting in the wreck, and then finally LeBay being involved in that wreck there in the final laps. Actually, it was a pretty difficult day on all three of the teams there this time around. But a lot of interesting things to take from this one. A lot of great runs that'll hopefully help. I want to hesitate in talking about those today in this part of the show. Let's see. What do I got on here? Yeah, great runs here. Getting a lot of messages here. Yeah, great runs. Yeah, best finish by Mike Harmon Racing. Was it actually better than Weatherman's run at Kentucky last year? I think, because I remember that was a real exciting moment when he was actually charging into the top 10 at the end of that Xfinity Series race. That was one of the most exciting battles to actually watch a driver really outperform. Yes, 8th place there. So just by one spot, the first race of that Kentucky doubleheader with Weatherman finishing 8th there and unfortunately finishing last the next day after an early accident on the first lap. But again, that's the nature of the sport there. You got some comers and goers there, some moments that definitely don't work out quite as well from one day to the next, but still good to see from these other competitors out there. Alrighty, let's see. JJ Yaley 12th. Does it say that on here? Let me see. Okay, it shows 13th on the unofficial one here. It showed that it was close to him there with Burton there at the end. I know Burton looked like he got crossed up at the finish line there, but an interesting shake up on there. So let's see. Yeah, huge underdog moment for sure. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Cindric's car, interesting paint scheme this time around too. But yeah. Okay. Well, again, we're making the show really brief tonight. Again, mostly just to get the audio thing. I can tell already I need to move this because I'm doing so many hand gestures here that I don't want to keep flicking this thing. So I'll probably have a different setup here tomorrow. I originally had a post that was making this a lot higher, but didn't bend the right angle. And we'll do a couple trivia questions here. Again, just a very brief show tonight. I know our more regular viewership here for Sunday will be on this. We'll touch on the Xfinity race today too, especially if anything else develops from that. But we'll talk more about that in our Sunday show. So we'll do a couple bonus trivia questions here this evening. Obviously, with blink of an eye playing after the race, I wasn't anticipating getting a lot of people on board here for this show. Kind of came together at the last second here, but we'll certainly talk about that. I'm going to go ahead and just pick the category here this time, which is one that we haven't done as much. I might do the pits category because I don't think we've done a lot of questions from that. But that would probably be a different one here. Let me get the right window open here in the meantime. Yes, Andrew Yu, thank you so much for mentioning here. Of course, mentioned on Twitter earlier today, and Martin Brundle breaking the news. Tragically, the passing of Sir Murray Walker. Condolences to his family and friends. I know this is a NASCAR podcast or live stream, but truly the work that Mr. Walker did in his career transcends all the different motorsports out there. I think that one thing that he did great was make it exciting, make it informative, and at the same time really attainable in a sport that even in the 1990s to early 2000s was, of course, the most complicated sport out there in terms of technology and a lot of the ins and outs of it. He made it attainable. And, I didn't really grow up watching as many Formula One races out there, but he is absolutely inseparable from a lot of those great moments in the sport there. And, I can't hear Andrea De Cesaris's name without thinking of it, Murray Walker's voice, for example, much like, Rick Benjamin, for example, saying Gary St. Amant or drivers in the ASA. I think that really speaks to the legacy that he left behind and a life well lived. I mean, my goodness, man, almost reached 100 years old. Tremendous accomplishments there that I think that most people would really want to strive for, and leaves, certainly a bit of a vacuum in the sport there. I know he retired a number of years ago, but tremendous personality that is certainly going to live on in the history of Formula One and the history of motorsports broadcasting, really. People trying to still find that nebulous balance of making things entertaining and, making things informative and having the sense of timing and the presence of mind to say the right thing at the right moment during these broadcasts. He was certainly one of the greats, and certainly our condolences to his friends and family out there. Absolutely, for sure. Let's see. So let me do a couple of questions here for this part of the show here. Like I said, we're going to go and do pits because I think that's one we haven't done here in a bit. We'll probably do, like I say, we'll do in our show tomorrow, and we'll do the votes there for which category there. Anything else from the Xfinity race or anything you want me to talk about, definitely mention in the comments there, and we'll jump on this. We'll do this for a little bit on there. What's with the hoodie I'm wearing? You mean the one that says Sears Point Raceway on it? Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the one to wear for sure. Alrighty. So first question here: what car lower the maximum engine size to in 1965 to slow down the cars? What did NASCAR lower the maximum engine size to in 1965 to slow down the cars? So I guess we're looking for a number here for the horsepower. And let's see. Caitlin Downey, I see your comment. When's the next field fillers coming? I'm just about done with the script here. Got some good progress done on this week. So hopefully we'll get that one going and get recording on that. I also have another NASCAR Man script that was sent to me. So I'm in the process of recording both of those. And then I think it's going to come together pretty well after that. Still no estimated release date for the field fillers episode, but it's definitely on the market there. The ARCA last car battle was over on lap 1. Yes, I didn't watch that race. I got to really check that out there. Alrighty, what did NASCAR lower the maximum engine size to in 1965 to slow down the cars? What did NASCAR lower the maximum? Why can't I say that? Maximum engine size to in 1965 to slow down the cars? Alrighty. And we got guesses for 427, 358, 530, 350. It's a tough call. Read it again here. What did NASCAR lower the maximum engine size to in 1965 to slow down the cars? All right. And the answer is 428 cubic inches. Okay. 428 cubic inches is the correct answer. Wouldn't have guessed that one there, too. Yeah. 427. Jesse Krill, you were like right on top of it. Just off by one. Whoop. So, yeah. It's really interesting how that all shakes out. So, all righty. And let's get the next one here. What is, okay, next question. This is a penalty question here. What is the penalty for pulling up to the pit during a caution? Love all these little technicalities here. What is the penalty for pulling up to pit during a caution? Just a little photo. Let me see. There we go. Goodness me. And ready. Once again, what is the penalty for pulling up to the pit during a caution? All right, we got tail end of the longest line, end of the starting grid, disqualification, and leave the race. Well, there we go. That was a pretty harsh penalty there. Let's see. All righty. What is the penalty for pulling up to pit during a caution? And the answer is 1 lap. The answer is 1 lap. Okay. So I'm hopeful that this is working okay down here. Here's a compressor that we picked up here this week here. This is what I'm testing it on. I was messing with this all morning here, but it just still want to make sure it sounds pretty good here. My original thought with this stream was to start just messing randomly with this and then wait until people complained about the sound didn't sound right. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I'll probably just do that offline and figure that out. But we'll see if this thing, see if that works in the meantime. Our last one didn't have a restrictor plate on it, which is why the field fillers audio was kind of off. The answer was indeed 1 lap for that last question there. So 1 lap is the penalty for pulling up to pit. Ready. We're not going to do too many Saturday shows here for right now, unless the Cup Series race is on Saturday. But we'll just kind of do this brief one here tonight. But again, thank you for those of you tuning in here. Next question, what do teams add 300 pounds of to get a car up to NASCAR's approved weight? What do teams add 300 pounds of to get a car up to approved weight? All right. Yes. Whoop, let me check this one here again. No tires, just gas. I did check my Gmail. Thank you for the message there for sure. Definitely helps get a good picture of Jesse Little's car for the article. The article will be posted later tonight for the Xfinity Series, and of course the Cup Series article tomorrow for Sunday's main event here. All right, we got guesses for lead, tungsten, Austin Cindric, ballast, sheet metal, tungsten. So yeah, is it going to ask for the element, or is it just going to ask, is it just going to go for a more generic term? That's going to be the interesting thing. I'm going to move this. Maybe I will do a little bit of experimenting here since we got a smaller show here tonight. I'm going to see if I move this to the side. I know most shows, they usually have it like right here, front center. Can you guys still hear me okay on this? If it sounds too distant or if it sounds like I'm in a tin can or something, don't hesitate to let me know. I want to make sure this is as best it can be for these other ones here. What do teams add 300 pounds of to get a car up to NASCAR's approved weight? And the answer is, it's going for lead. Okay, so it is going for the element. Lead is the correct answer. Sounds good. Okay, good. Because, yeah, it would be easier if I just had this out of hand range. Maybe I'll just angle it this way. All right. It's always a work in progress, guys. How many times how many different setups have you seen in this show already, really since 2019? Where we had, I guess I had a microphone in a cup at one point here. We try different things. Hopefully this works out long term. This spring here just does not want to hold in place, but I think it'll nurse itself kind of against the armrest. Sounds good. Okay, good. All right. We'll experiment with this tomorrow. We'll probably have a few more people in there tomorrow. And then if it still needs adjustments, of course, we'll do that along the way. All righty. Next question here. What do teams check on a tire to get a good idea of how it's handling on the track? By the way, Ryan Markham and Robbie Burns, you were right ahead of the curve there on that. Last question there with the lead, the ballast. What do teams check on a tire to get a good idea of how it's handling on the track? What do teams check on a tire to get a good idea of how it's handling on the track is our next question. Yeah, I guess it's for PSI. Yeah, PSI or Sunday. Yeah, who knows? Alrighty. Yeah, maybe I'll just park this over here and that won't be in the way. Alrighty. What do teams check on a tire to get a good idea of how it's handling on the track? Okay, camera two. There we go. All right, temperature, tire wear, PSI. Yeah, exactly. These are trickier questions. I think this is probably why we haven't done the pits that much. These are very vaguely written. I mean, it could be interpreted any number of different ways, but yeah, we'll see. What do teams check on a tire to get a good idea of how it's handling on the track? And the answer is it's temperature, tire temperature. Okay, Dusty DeBoer, Robbie Burns, were you the first ones on that? A couple of you had that one there too. All righty. Let's see. Here we go. Here's a good one. The Kids' Choice Awards are on? Oh, my goodness. See? Okay. I don't know. This probably was... Saturday nights are tougher to do streams on there. I think there's just too many things on at the same time here. But obviously, we get to Saturday night races. They're much later after all that. So, but just trying something a little different here. When can a car be pushed past the flagman at the exit of pit road? Our next question. When can a car be pushed past the flagman at the exit of pit road? Grammys are tomorrow? Wow, I didn't know that. Had to go super fast to take the picture. Yeah, much appreciated. When? So under what circumstances can a car be pushed past the flagman at the exit of pit road? Pushed. All right, so I guess it's for garage, out of fuel, never, front stretch, probably none because they're probably done. So yeah, lots of good guesses. When can a car be pushed past the flagman at the exit of pit road? Out of gas. Yeah, lots of good guesses on this one. All righty. And the answer, when can a car be pushed past the flagman? Excuse me. At the exit of pit road, the answer is never. Never. It was one of them trick questions. But a couple of you guys were not fooled. You got Beast of Metal, you were all over it. Never is indeed the correct answer. Yeah, by the push truck. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really specify whether it's pushed by the crew. Pushed past the flagman at the exit of pit road. I mean, I guess yeah. If you had a car that broke down the exit pit road, you can get a push truck out there to push them past it. So that would be the difference. Okay, let's see. Ooh, okay. Here's a good question. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure exactly how to interpret this one, but we'll go ahead and read it here. What top wrench led Junior Johnson to his 1960 Daytona 500 win? Now we're going way back here. What top wrench, I assume they mean crew chief, don't look it up, led Junior Johnson to his 1960 Daytona 500 win? Let's see. Alrighty. What top wrench led Junior Johnson to his 1960 Daytona 500 win? Guesses for Waddell Wilson, Smokey Yunick, drafting, 2,900 people that are dangerous. Let's see. Fox Booth laugh compilation. I like that, Evil Wayne Peterson. That would be really good. All righty. Moving through here. Over 9,000 mechanics. Ray Fox, Carl Kiekhofer. Oh, my goodness. Beast of Metal, you didn't even save till tomorrow to give me a really complicated name to pronounce. Chris Fuamadu Mafala. Wait, okay. I want to try that again. Chris Fuamadu Maafala. Chris Fuamadu Maafala. Am I close? Am I in the neighborhood? Or am I in a completely different zip code? I could be completely off on that. Chris Fuamadu Maafala. Well, no, Mafala. Mafala. Oh, my goodness. Chris Fuamadu Mafala. Pronunciation show on tonight. Okay. What top wrench led Junior Johnson to his 1960 Daytona 500 win? I legitimately don't know the answer to this. The answer is Ray Fox. I think one of you actually got that. Ryan Markham, right on. You got it. You played for the Steelers? Oh, okay, cool. Okay. Or you're pulling my leg. I don't know. I don't know either. Football is not my experience. So, yeah. Yeah, Ryan Vargas, Evil Wayne Peterson. Yeah, he slapped the wall in the backstretch. There was a good shot that Fox had coming off of, I guess, turn two, where he got a good piece of the wall there. And he was at the back there a little bit before that. Unfortunately, just kind of a difficult run. Where did Vargas actually finish there? He was, let's see, number 6, oh, he didn't do too bad. He was 30th, 3 laps down. So, I mean, great run, but I mean, he's on the same lap as Dexter Bean after he got the wall, and David. No, Bean's a lap ahead of him, 2 laps down. Okay, he's ahead of Loris Hesmans though. So there we go. But yeah, it seemed like he did a pretty good bit of damage there, unfortunately. We'll do a couple more questions here. We're not going to make the show too long tonight in case our regular Sunday viewers are missing out, so they can catch up there before the race tomorrow. And we'll do our Sunday show, of course, at the regular time. Who drove car 42? Next question. Who drove car 42 when he won the 1959 Daytona 500? Who drove car 42 when he won the 1959 Daytona 500? Loris Hesmans, yeah, he's a NASCAR Euro Series driver. I think he's a series champion too. Made his second series start this weekend, this time driving for Carl Long and the Realm brothers in the 13 car. Had a quiet race this time around, so that's good to see. All right, the guesses are coming in. Lee Petty. You guys all got it. You got it. Of course, the answer is indeed Lee Petty. Great answer on that. Okay, here's a good question. Alrighty, Lee Petty, correct answer. Okay, so we're just going to do one more question here tonight. I don't want our Sunday viewers missing out too much of the action here, but we'll do this here in the meantime. This is an interesting one. How were cars usually transported to the track during the first years of NASCAR? So going a lot further back. How were cars usually transported to the track during the first years of NASCAR? How were cars usually transported to the track during the first years of NASCAR? Alrighty. And we got drove there, blimp, drove them there, they're driven there, open tow trailers. Boy, Jesse Krill, that's just a mouthful on that. Driven, none. They just had to drive there, driven themselves, driven like normal. Oh my goodness, you guys got it. You guys are too smart. Driven by the drivers is indeed the correct answer. A lot of you guys were on that one there. I was hoping that would be more of a stumper, but I guess not. So anyway, I'm just gonna leave the show here. I'm anxious to hear what this sounds like when I stop the stream. So I'm gonna listen to this, do some fine tuning, get this microphone ready for tomorrow's show after our Cup Series race here. So those of you who tune in, thank you so much for tuning in on such short notice here. And I invite you certainly to come back on tomorrow after the Cup Series race, about maybe within 10 to 15 minutes after the finish of that race. And we'll certainly talk about Sunday's action. We'll review a bit of today, too, for those of them that jump in on that day there. And we'll do, of course, some more trivia that night. So, again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And lastcar.info, the website, patreon.com/lastcaronbrock is the website. Those of you in the Patreon, make sure you keep your votes coming in for which race I'm going to do a starting grid for. We got a number of votes here, but there's still a lot of members that haven't voted yet. And if you're interested in voting as well, you can join any level and be able to sign up for that as well. And votes close on Monday at midnight. So basically the end of tomorrow on Sunday is when that ends. So get your votes in if you don't have them already, and we'll take it from there. So have a wonderful evening, everyone. And we'll see you after the Cup Series race.